Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is the 58 Keys Script Club. It's a book club, you know, the sort of thing, but it is actually exclusively about scripts and screenplays. It's also reasonably exclusively about scripts that I like, and actually I think every time it's one I think that you and I as writers can learn from. I mean, I just want to enjoy the scripts, but we can learn too. And this time, it's a script that I practically yelped out loud when I found it was put online. It's put online on the very great TV writing website, link in the description. It's the pilot to Mad About You, a sitcom that it isn't well known, I think, here in the UK where I am, and I think the star has faded a bit in the States, but it was a huge hit in the US in the early 1990s. Mad About You is about a married couple, Paul and Jamie Buckman, or Paul and Jamie Cooper in the script, which honestly throws me every time I read on it. It's like when you find out that Jim Rockford was originally written to be Tom Rockford. It's just wrong. Anyway, the show is about this married couple, and the pilot episode is written by the show's creators, Paul Reiser and Danny Jacobson. Reiser also stars. He plays Paul Buckman in it, and he's alongside Helen Hunt as Jamie Buckman. And Hunt is actually one reason to mention this script in particular, because she's talked about being what it was like when she was sent it originally, back in the day. I think at the time she was chiefly acting in films at the time. I mean, certainly what she did after the show. So she's a film actor. Maybe she wasn't the obvious person to send a TV sitcom script to. But then apparently enough people did send it to her that on receiving it, her first reaction, I think I'm remembering what she said in an interview somewhere, was that, yeah, no, this isn't going to appeal to her. Before she read it, that's what she was thinking, and she had a reason. It was partly, it was partly because it was possible when she got it, the draft had its original title, which was the absolutely compelling The Paul Reiser Show. So what she was sent then was a script co-written by this Reiser guy, and she was being asked to play his character's wife. Whether this is really what Hunt said, or maybe I'm just imposing my own prejudices based on sitcoms of the time here, it was clear there was no possibility that her role would be any good. It would be the yes dear role. It'd be her setting up situations or lines for him to come back with a witty gag. It would be always the Paul Reiser Show. And then she read the script. You should always really read the script. I don't know why actors don't gobble up scripts as much as I do, but okay. Anyway, she reads it, and to her apparent great surprise, presumably delight, actually, I imagine, but definitely surprise, no, Jamie Buckman is an equal character to Paul Buckman. I don't count lines. I couldn't swear statistically that it was 50-50, but they are both prominent. This is the story of both of them, and Jamie Buckman gets some tremendous lines. I wish I'd written some of them. So Helen Hunt was in, and the rest is 7 seasons and 164 episodes. There was also a revival in 2019, which just didn't seem to work, didn't seem to land. I feel kind of bad saying this, but Helen Hunt had some work on her face done before it, and watching the revival, I did like what I saw, as much as I was an absolute fan from the original show and very much a fan of hers and her work, of course, I admire her very much. I could never quite stop staring at the work. I stopped watching the revival, I'm afraid. But these original 7 seasons, okay, go back to those. These are generally such tremendously written episodes. I long to read more scripts, and yet, okay, for now, only the pilot is available. And actually, that one is missing a page, so tantalizing. A couple of writing things, though, about it, specifically about this episode. And one of them has to be that that business of giving both main characters enough to do. You can see how an actor needs material, but I think it also makes the show better. It isn't a one-man show with someone else throwing in setup lines. It's a relationship, and in a story about a marriage, that does seem essential. But then there's also this. This episode is not when the two meet. It's not when they get married. It's the start of the series, but it takes place some months after the wedding. It puts us and the characters down into this strange time, really, of realizing this is the rest of your life now, probably. It sets the stage for what at times I would say actually becomes as much drama as it is comedy. There's an episode quite long into the run where it looks like Paul and Jamie are going to break up, and I remember a really excruciatingly long scene with absolutely no jokes in it at all. Totally compelling, because we'd followed these characters for so long, because those characters were worth following from the pilot script onwards. But then, if we can't ever get more scripts from the show, you must let me recommend that you watch a couple of episodes. I don't normally say that, but watch a couple of episodes, and then, very definitely, if you can, watch season 1, episode 11. It's called Met Someone, and it's by series co-creator Danny Jacobson. 11 episodes in, it is the story of how Paul and Jamie met, and it is a masterclass in writing, I think, and it's also, a joy to relax and watch. In the space of about 22 minutes, Jacobson gets these characters together and gets you and me to want them to be together. In fact, actually, I half quoted 3/4 paraphrased Helen Hunt a moment ago. Let me end by recounting something Paul Reiser has said as well. Years and years after the show ended, he mentioned that he'd stumbled across this Met Someone episode on TV. And normally, I think he said he watches thinking how much younger I used to be. You can identify. But this time, he says he got into it. He was rooting for these characters to get together. That's not an ordinary 3 or 4 wall sitcom in this case. That's special. If only more Mad About You scripts were available. But at least there's this one, which is linked in the description, of course, linked as ever. And for now, that's it for this 58 Keys Script Club. Thank you very much for watching, but take care of yourself now, okay? Write more, and I'll see you soon.